right now, the biggest misconception in B2B about video is founders and marketers thinking that they need to go viral for a video to be successful. The most important video that your company could make is,
let's say, even just 500 views. 500 is a lot of people, and people's perception is skewed from 30,000 nobodies to 500 potential of your ideal clients. Speak to your customer, solve their problem, prove your that is the basics.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the B2B Content Show. This is Jake Clare, and I got my co-host Ding Zhang in the house, and we got a guest all the way from Scotland. You live in the UK though, right now?
Well, yeah, Scotland's in the UK.
Oh, okay, there we go. And he has his company called The Story Club, and you've helped over 85 founders create video content for LinkedIn. And we're going to be talking all about B2B marketing, B2B content, what's going on in LinkedIn in 2026, and video strategies that you can all take away. So, Johnny, what brings you in town? You're doing a little road tour of the U.S., a little road tour of the U.S. You said you were in New York, all the way to Florida, and now we're in Austin, Texas. What's going on?
Yeah, pleasure to be here, guys.
There we go.
I'm feeling like I'm in like summer clothes, and you guys look so smart. But yeah, I'm basically on a road trip, which if Homeland Security are watching, is purely a holiday. But for anyone else, I bookmarked it with New York and Austin for meeting people and networking, a bit of business approach as well. And that obviously led to us. We were already connected on LinkedIn. I'm going to be in Austin. Let's hang out. And I thought we were just going to talk video, but it looks like we're going to pass that wisdom on to others as well.
The UK video industry is a little bit different than the United States video industry, right? It's so much more mature in the United States, and in the UK, it's not as mature. Tell me about the current state of the UK and video marketing.
So basically, the American market and the UK market, they are very different, right? Anyone who's been in either, worked with either, I speak to founders all the time, and they say when they've got American clients, it's just a different world, right? From a marketing standpoint, the understanding of the value of marketing in general is known. The willingness to invest in your company is a much higher level. So that obviously ties into personal branding, founder-led brand, video. It's just, you don't have to do the education piece as much. If I have a conversation with someone, I have to explain the value and the importance and maybe show some data points. Whereas here, you don't have to have that conversation as much. You just talk about what you do because they already know the why. I don't know if you guys find that, because you obviously run a video agency. Are you having to explain marketing and video to people?
Yeah, I think where the American market is in terms of accepting and adopting video is we're at a semi-mature early majority stage. I think maybe 5-10 years ago on the B2B side, video was quite new. Fewer people were doing it, and very few people were doing it well. Now, video is not exactly new. Some people are doing it. Few people do it well. But I'd say across the board, more people are doing it, and more people see the value. And I think the best indicator of that for me is 5 years ago, when I was doing more creative videos in the B2B space, I got a lot more pushback. Most conversations were me selling my prospect on the value of video, explaining to them how they could benefit. Now the conversations are a lot simpler. They already know the value, they know what they want, and it's a lot more of a logistics conversation.
Are you, because you work with a lot of European brands and founders, are you having to do the explaining of the power of video, or are more people coming to you and you're just telling them what to do?
Yeah, so when I was originally building out that cold audience, you are having to, I was making the mistake trying to take people from 0 to 5. Being like, you're clearly trying to build your personal brand, you should be doing video, here's why. Whereas just a lesson that came with business is it's much easier to take people from 3 to 7. So people who are already doing videos to some extent but wanted higher quality, more systems, more structure. But I think there's still the idea that videos are nice to have, not a must have, and people don't understand the full structure and ability of it, that they're just inconsistent. And also, because you've got your phone or whatever, do you actually want to put budget behind it? So it's kind of explained to people why knowledge around how video works and exactly what it does and the different ways to use it, because so many people post and hope, right? People will post a video on, let's say, LinkedIn, YouTube, any channel. Maybe they post twice a week. It's not very consistent. It's not really got a strategy. There's no real purpose to it. And then they say video doesn't work for me. Whereas there's this real conflict between people feeling like video's the in thing. They know they must be doing it, but the willingness to pay for it or actually do it properly isn't there. So it's this really weird line between something in the back of their head telling them they need it, but there's just not enough drive to actually make it a real tool for them, their businesses, or their goals.
It's the value perception, because I think when we talk about doing video, for most founders, I think there's actually two cost centers, right? One is the monetary investment, but I think the second, and perhaps a more limiting one, LaCroix, sponsor us, please. I think founders are more limited by bandwidth and energy to do video than they are the capital constraint. For the most part, or at least the types of clients we want to work with.
I would say even us now that we have a real business, and there's honestly a million things I'd probably need to do right now than film a podcast, but we have bought in on the power of video, and that is something that's just like a core part of our business.
But even this is a justifiable business time investment in the podcast, right? We have a long list of songs that we want to do, parodies, remixes, covers. I have 15 songs sitting in a folder on Google Drive, for the next Sales Rapper album called LinkedIn Lunatics. Please, or LinkedIn Lunatic, please cop. But we have no plans to move on any of that content until at the minimum end of May, because we have such a busy and packed spring event season, right? And it's, in the interest of growing the business and best serving our clients, we just have to say no to certain things, right? And so I understand the founders that say we don't have the money, or that I don't understand as much. We don't have the time and energy to do business, and what I have to say to them is the value is still there. Just because your present state doesn't support that doesn't mean that it isn't something that you should prioritize. If that's building more systems, adopting more AI use cases, making strategic hires to unlock the time capacity, because that's, I think, something that Jake and I have done is as we butted up against that time constraint, we've just made hires, delegated, built better systems, so we could buy some of that time back.
Well, that's why people should outsource does, right? That's buy the time back by outsourcing. But that's like the balance that you have to work between what's a nice to have and what's a must have. And if people are always in the mindset it's a nice to have, of course it'll always be deprioritized.
Yeah.
So it's how would you think about making it's a must have?
Yeah, I would say, I even said it, how you alluded to when you're doing cold outreach, you're trying to convince someone to buy something versus we've seen just so much more success creating content and video content, and then people, when they're ready to buy, they want to buy, when they're at that level 3 and they want to get to level 7, they come and they're ready to buy and they know what they want. So that's why we've seen a lot of success, obviously, with like inbound, and people are just ready to buy at that time. It's way less convincing.
Yeah.
Are you, do you do a lot of like outbound, or are you inbound?
Yeah, there's still a mix, to be fair, since I've been on this road trip. Obviously, it's like you said, like my bandwidth and my capacity for actually creating my own content has been weak. So like you said, I'm not naive to the stress and, trying to balance your time as a founder. I think so many people just kick the can down the road, though, that it's because people don't, everyone likes to think things will be faster than they will, but they always take longer than they will. And what I mean by that is any brand work, and obviously videos don't just have to be a long-term brand play, it takes time to compound, to build that trust. So the longer people put it off, the busier it gets, the noisier it gets, the less. And then, after 2-3 months of waiting and then 2-3 months of actually starting, that's 6 months. And in their head, they won't have experienced results with a video, because the moment they start talking about it, they've got that dopamine release of as if they've been doing videos. Yeah, I really want to do videos. You feel good about it. And I've seen a lot of people come in all passionate and excited about video, thinking they're the exception to the rule, because everyone's like, sure, it takes 2-3 months to see results, but not me. Like, they'll never say it, but actively they're thinking it. And then it's just like, I've seen a negative spiral for a lot of individuals and brands too often.
What is posting? Say the Story Club, we hired the Story Club, and we're gonna do founder content. How many like videos am I getting per week? And then when do I actually start seeing ROI? Because obviously we know video is a lagging indicator with revenue. Shout out to Ding because he used that term recently, and I'm stealing that term. But it takes a while for video to actually see ROI, and you don't never really know if it's working very well because attribution is kind of messy when it comes to video. Sure. What does that look like when clients are working with you, and where do they start seeing success typically?
Well, I guess the answer everyone hates to hear is it's like, how long is a piece of string? It does depend, right? Because you've got some people. If I was to recommend a cadence, let's talk about LinkedIn specifically. If someone's already posting 3 written posts a week, 2 videos tied in with that, perfect, beautiful. All the evidence of video, how much more it builds trust and authority and all those aspects. But what I'm trying to train people to understand is putting those videos to work. It's not just posting and hoping. It's like, but really it's about putting the videos to work, right? You have created this asset that should be a library for something you can use as and when, right? So let's talk about, we were talking about unsexy videos before, but very often some of the unsexiest videos are the most effective. If you have 8 videos that cover all of your customers' objections and you're talking to them in the DMs, like you don't want to waste an hour on a call with someone who's never going to buy. If they're asking questions and you have videos that you can just send them directly or send them to a page that has 8 videos of you talking to them about your process and stuff, that's how you see results. That's how you can measure it as well, because rather than jumping on a call with someone, you've sent them videos and they're immediately ready to work with you. So it's not just about this brand social media video strategy. It's about how can you get it out in front of more eyeballs and utilize it as an actual strategic tool. And that's why salespeople hate marketing. But if you gave them that education piece we just did of, guys, here's a bunch of assets you can send to people to save you time, sales and marketing would be in love with each other from that.
That's even sorry, Ding, I don't know if you're going to say something.
I have a rant, but I'll let you hop in real quick.
Me and Ding have recently we've recently changed our internal slogan that we're creating content for sales teams, the ARM sales teams, because that's the content actually converts, right?
Yeah. You know, it comes from personal experience. Jake and I, we used to work in the sales, and our marketing teams, bless their hearts, right? They would do all these field marketing activations, and then they would make these videos that were sales collateral, and then no one on the sales team used them. And to me, I've carried that sentiment with me over the years as we've gone in the video production business is, if me as a seller at that company that we're working with does not want to use this video to help them close a deal, or are unable to use that video to help them close a deal, that's a bad video.
And it's a waste of everybody's time.
It's a waste of time. It's
money,
resources,
energy, effort. Yeah. So should we say, so that we can drop some education, like, what do you think are the biggest waste of time videos businesses do?
This one's tough because it's, to your point earlier, it's context dependent, right? A couple of variables to think about. Number one, what are you selling and who are you selling to, right? If you are, let's say you sell to a more conservative audience, HR tech, legal tech, right? I'd imagine your brand and your video positioning is going to be a little different than sales tech or MarTech, or you're selling to influencers, right? That's a very different approach. Also, maturity and stage of your company. Did you just get let's say you're in the AI space, hot category right now, a lot of noise. Woo. You just raised, I don't know. By the way, seed rounds are dumb now. Everyone has like a 10 million plus seed round, which is insane. Anyways, so I told you I was going to go on a rant.
Listen, I'm here for a rant. I love a rant.
But let's say you're one of those companies. You need. The whole meta last year with Cluely and all the copycats was, let's spend 6 figures, 100K, 200K on a launch video.
The amount of launch and demo videos now from that.
Right, and that was, everybody was doing it. Every YC company was doing it for about a year. Right, now you don't see that anymore. Right? It's tragedy of the commons. Everyone does one thing and it's too many times, and it loses its efficacy. But if you're a large enterprise company and you go out and you make one of those videos, no one really cares because Salesforce is dropping millions on a Super Bowl ad, right? And Ramp is doing crazy commercials with Kevin from The Office. So can you compete with the capital of a larger enterprise company as a smaller company? Maybe not. So then do you go more grassroots approach? So there's a lot of factors that go into it. Let me try and land the plane here real quick. Yeah. Jake, what do you think?
The question was, what's a bad video?
It was, what videos do you think are a waste of time for, let's say most companies, because you're right, there's so many different factors and we can get in the weeds, But like when you see a video consistently done, like maybe it's popular, maybe it's not.
Yeah, my condensed answer is the $100,000 plus launch video. I don't think those work anymore. They worked. The first 3 worked, and then afterwards it was just like, oh.
Yeah, I would say anytime anytime you're spending a hefty amount of content, you got to look at what you're selling, right? If you have an expensive product, it makes sense to have more expensive content. If you have selling very cheap.
Yeah.
Small software.
For $1,000 a seat, sure, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're $10 a license. That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, even when you're talking about who's the audience, right? I was talking to like the later team. They sell to influencers. Their content looks way more different than typical legal tech company.
Yeah.
So your content needs to match what the audience cares about.
Like Air, I think is a great example, right? Shout out to Ariel. If I'm in Toronto, let's link up. Big fan of what they do.
They basically sell to social media managers.
They sell to social media managers, people that are chronically online, right? They got Bonnie Blue as an influencer for a campaign, right? They got what's the kid's name?
Strong British export there.
Yeah, right.
He's the Rizzler.
The Rizzler,
The
right? They got
Rizzler.
the Rizzler, right? By the way, pour one out for the Costco guys. The Rizzler is the only one that stayed relevant, right? But and Benioff has Mr. Beast and McConaughey, right?
Yeah,
So even your influencers that you work with,
What
in your videos would be different based on your brand.
what's the worst video in your opinion? The worst type of video?
The
Throw the
worst
question
kind
back
of
at you.
video. I've got friends who do them, so I need to be animated videos. I just don't get them. I'm not on board with animated videos. And you're right, it depends, right? An animated video is great for internal comms to an extent. But if I'm watching something and I see a bunch of like animated characters come along and try and tell me something, I immediately switch off. Maybe it's because I buy into like founder-led stuff or people-led. Human-led stuff is like, obviously I work in it because it's what I buy into and I like, but animated stuff.
Yeah. Well, Johnny, when you say animated video, like more specifically, what are these, like explainer videos, product videos, or animation like cartoon, anime?
Kind of explainer videos.
Explainer videos,
yeah.
okay. So like numbers, graphs, charts on the screen.
Yeah,
It
doesn't really engage me.
It's kind of what you're saying, Ding, with the launch video. They're kind of very similar.
Is it a wide encompassing umbrella, all animated videos? Like, are there exceptions for, let's say, an explainer video where it's a very product focused video, right? Let's say it's maybe for a more technical audience. They want to see what the actual UI UX looks like and how certain functions
It's
happen.
tough because I'm being selfish. I'm talking from a purely personal standpoint.
Yeah.
Like when I see one, I immediately switch off. I'm like, I don't care about this. Again, if you're talking about like a tool, right?
Yeah.
If it's a tool, it's something I want to use. I want to jump in and use because that's how I learn. I don't know if it's like flashbacks to school, when you got like the cartoon that would come and try to explain a not that complex thing to you. So it just feels like boring education rather than...
It's like Khan Academy, but corporate.
Rather than like this informative thing that's genuinely it's patronizing almost.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
I don't need a cartoon to tell me, hey guys, so today we're going to show you how the demo works. It's like, I don't need this.
Okay, I want to bring the conversation back to UK versus American cultural differences. What is the sales friend zone? Johnny, what is the sales friend zone?
Well, so this is actually a term a mentor gave to me as well, because he was like, you end up too much in the sales friend zone. Americans are very good at like selling, right? You guys, it's the British and American cultures are, obviously there's like some unbelievable salespeople in the UK, don't get me wrong, but it's almost built into the culture here that it's not. Some people in the UK would try and say it cheapens the relationships. Like in America, does everyone just want something from you? And it's like, whereas in the UK, we convince ourselves, and there's probably truth to it, it's about building relationships. It's about getting to know people. It's about spending time with them. It's about building that trust. And naturally over time, business will come or trust will come. So many networking events now pride them, again, the pendulum swing the other way. But so many networking events now pride themselves on having that thing, no dick swinging, no sales, like no talking about your service.
What? Are you just talking about the football the entire time?
Genuinely, it's crazy. So that's so funny, your reaction to that. So America didn't go that way. Genuinely, for the last 5 years, so many events have been about no pitching. Like that's in apostrophes, whatever, no pitching. So then what you had was a bunch of nice people going, maybe making a friend or two, but getting no actual business value from it. And I do think the pendulum's swinging the other way, because I'm seeing a lot of people talking about building rooms that are of value and networking with intention. But if we're talking about the culture as a whole, 100% the UK is very nice. Whereas, you come to America and you get shit done. Like, it's just true.
Yeah.
Every conversation I have ends with, and how can I help you?
In America.
In America.
Yeah.
And it's because people want to connect and join dots and make things happen. And the UK culture just is lacking in that front. And very few people, I think, would disagree with that.
Yeah. You know what's funny about events where they say there's no pitching and no sales? I feel like in the US for the past 2 to 3 years, it's swung so far the other way. And the best example of that is vendors agency pricing for event tickets. So there's a separate tier now, right? It's like you have for a long time, you had your regular attendees and then your sponsors, right? And then now it's your regular attendees that work at a big company and then your agency vendors, separate pricing.
We have that as well.
So it's like we encourage pitching, but like what is some value, additional value along the way, right? Some guardrails.
Yeah.
In place there, but the sales friend zone thing is funny to me, because I feel like in the U.S. we almost have the sales situationship or the sales fuck buddy, and what I mean by that is because you're so aggressively going for the close, there's this trope of close, get their business, sign the deal, and then the clients churn after a month, right? So
because the sale was forced
so aggressively, yeah.
So there's got to be some happy medium there, because you can't be stuck in the friend zone, but we still need to close some business. But for example, I was just on it.
What's the sales long-term relationship?
We need a sales long-term relationship.
The sales
where there's mutual trust and mutual what's the term I'm looking for?
Win-win, mutual benefit.
Mutual benefit. Yeah. I was just on upgrading our seats for a software. We had to get the enterprise version. Was dropped off a call. It's been maybe like 4 or 5 days since then. I've been reached out to 8 times about this. I'm like, come on, this is too much selling. I'll buy it. I'll buy it when I'm ready. So,
but so you're right. That's the balance, right? Because people would say America falls on one end of the scale, which is the big push, the big close, like, the Wolf of Wall Street, like sale till you die. Yeah, exactly. But that's not appeared in a podcast in a few years. Whereas like the UK is definitely like more nicest. And you're right, there is a middle ground, and there's the people from the UK and the US who have mastered that. But from a cultural thing, I'd bet if we looked at the numbers, it sways the way we're saying.
Speaking of culture, we're going to talk about generational culture and generational content gaps. So all of us I would consider us all millennials.
Yeah.
I'm
Elder Gen Z.
I'm in the between Gen Zs and millennials. So I resonate more with the millennials.
Yeah. Playing to the room he's in. I like it.
Yes. Yeah. When with the kids though, I'm like,
yeah.
Jake, the last millennial bender.
I'm the last millennial bender, and the content potentially we consume is maybe a little bit less flashy than what the Gen Z kiddos are making and what the kind of content they're making. Johnny, I want to give us a quick rant. And I'm trying. What's the question? What's the clip? Right. Pause it.
It's not a rant. It's the younger generation are amazing at getting building attention, but not knowing what to do with it. The older generation maybe already has the trust built in. Like they've got, they've been around for 15, 20 years, but they are terrible at generating demand. So it's like, and they're going to continue going that way. And I think a lot of the young people won't ever figure out how can I turn this attention and things, because the hook to those vanity metrics. So it's almost like older people have no attention, young people have all of it, neither of them know how to fix that problem. So I've been on this road trip, started in New York for 10 days, and I met these 3 young guys at different points. Just totally coincidentally, I was like, listen, I'm going to be in town, we'll shoot some videos, just chat, hang out, same way we are. And all 3 of them were unbelievable at the amount of attention and traffic they drive to their social pages is unreal. And then I was like, this is class, how's it doing for business and stuff? Genuinely, 2 of them get no business from it. And one of them gets about 30,000 views of his LinkedIn page a week. And it's because
30,000 views on your LinkedIn page that's a bonkers.
Unbelievable.
You should be cleaning up with that amount of.
You should, and so there was little things.
The good old days.
It's like
you
3
were like
years
you
ago.
were like
I was doing 50 a week.
you're getting 50,000 page views a week,
Yeah. Now I get about 50.
and what's the difference in revenue?
Oh, we're crushing it. now.
Exactly, 'cause
we're millennials.
Ding used to be creating content for attention. Now you're creating content for conversion.
Hey, and I was
Your
broke.
millennial content.
I was broke. Was getting all these eyeballs, and yeah, man, I was that Gen Z.
So this is good. We've got a real world example, right? Okay, so one of the guy was getting 30,000. His page, which is his profile page on LinkedIn, it wasn't clear what he did. It wasn't clear who he served. So there was lots of gaps there. So not even from a content standpoint, because his page could have been that middle funnel part that explained and led people to a next step. When you were drawing those eyeballs, let's say that attention was landing on your page. Were you trying to sell? Was it clear what you were doing? What was the gap, you think?
As I've matured in marketing, I started realizing brand was a lot bigger than just the content that you post. The content that you post is a big part of it and helps inform some of the brand, but the way you show up online is more than just the video that you created or the text post you wrote. It's your presence, the copy on your page, on your website, the profile picture, visual representation of who you are, how you set up the page itself, right? What your tagline is, what your offer is, what the landing page copy says on the site. So I was good at getting individual videos or individual pieces of content in the feed on eyeballs. The whole rest of the funnel was not set up, right? I didn't have a website for my first 6 months in business as a freelancer. So I was getting all of this attention, but where was I directing it to?
And they call that the leaky funnel.
The leaky funnel.
Yeah.
Funnel. So we got our funnel. It's leaky.
Yeah.
But you knew where it was dropping off because you knew where people were coming in on.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is you would have been in the minority back then. So that's why we're talking about this generational gap, because you were driving attention and not knowing what to do. Whereas that's the minority of people, right? Whereas this next generation coming up, there are people who know how to drive attention, how to create videos, how to create content. They're staying on top of the trends. It's part of their world.
They're really good at it.
Totally. So we're going to see more people who create this amazing content to get attention and don't know what to do with it. And that's going to be the pool that's growing behind us. And that's going to be, in my eyes, that's going to become the problem to solve. How to get not these B2C people, because you had influencers and stuff who never created products, but these B2B people who are building a brand on something like LinkedIn or YouTube are in the professional area. And they're like, why isn't this turning into business? That'll be the generational gap there. Whereas the other generational gap on the other side is you've got a bunch of people who've been in business for a while, have a great product, great service, great team, but they've no idea how to get eyeballs on it. So they don't know how to drive that attention. Whereas they've got all the conversion mechanisms in place. So that's the gap.
How do we bridge the gap?
It's two different kinds of client.
Two different types of client. What do you mean?
It comes down to our services, right? You've got a choice. You can focus on one, which is the ones who don't know drive to demand. You can be like, we know how to the ones who don't know how to drive attention. You can be like, we can build attention. You've got this great business. Now let's give you the attention engine. And if you want to think into the future, if you're worried about those clients aging out, you've got to then think, right, these younger guys are coming in, guys and girls, are coming in. There is going to be a huge market. People are going to jump all over them the same way you've got people who are now helping influencers and Instagram create products because they're a brand. You're going to have a bunch of people jumping on them, and there's a huge opportunity there. So you can't really bridge the gap, because one is, I'll give you attention, you've already got the engine in place for converting. The other is, let me build out your conversion engine. Now, whether you have an interest in building out email, newsletter, lead magnet, landing pages, that's a choice. But with the knowledge we have and the experience we have, like you said, you've adapted a lot in the last 2-3 years. You've been through what they've been through. There's a story there. I've been you guys. That thing. So it's not so much. It's a very different customer. And it's just deciding if you want to focus on one, the other.
Yeah.
Or both.
Do you want to focus on helping them get attention, or do you want to help them focus on getting conversion?
Johnny, in your experience, which one is harder?
So it's funny because the more senior people are probably a bit more cynical. People are a bit more burnt by videos or have tried it and haven't seen it work and stuff. But they're the ones with the money's the budget and probably faster wins. The younger guys are hungry, willing to try anything, experimental, and they buy into your experience probably quite a bit more. And with the amount of attention some of them generate, a few small tweaks would be easy wins. So for honestly to be where I'm at right now, I'm thinking very much about that market. Because if you get people who've got attention, the small tweaks to give them the wins, that's a much easier conversation to be like, I did this for these guys, I can do it for you.
The companies should just hire those people, in my opinion.
What do you mean?
Like if you're a B2B business that needs attention, why not hire someone in-house? Because it is becoming so much harder. There's so many influencers, so many people trying to build their business. Why not just help a business that already has its offer finalized and trying to create an offer? That's why you see so many YouTubers trying to create CPG products because they're just looking for something to sell.
It's an existing validated offer. And I think that was one of my challenges early on with the sales wrapper. I was trying to sell something new that had not existed in the market before. And of course it was harder to scale. It was to our earlier point about having to sell every person you talk to about the concept, the value of it. Right? Whereas because we had some layer of distribution and attention, and also because we travel a lot, we go to a lot of in-person events, so that's another forcing function of distribution. We realize, in my personal experience at least, using my audience and reach and network to sell a validated service that people already understand and have buy-in, and finance departments feel are justified, that's a lot easier to scale and grow. And I think that's unfortunately maybe a pitfall of youth is when you're younger and less experienced, you think you're original and you're special, right? It's this it's the special snowflake fallacy, right? Everyone thinks that they're the exception to the trend.
Sure.
But there's statistics work a certain way. So I think once you align the audience and the attention with a validated or a more tenable offer, that's when you see success.
That's the crazy thing, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you went to these younger people or whoever and you give them shit, if you went to yourself 3, 4, 5 years ago and you were like, here's the system to convert that attention into actual money, you could do it. Do you think you would have had too much ego to take on board?
I was unlucky and lucky in that the business, it did well for a little bit. Like I had some months where I was shocked at how much revenue I was generating doing rap on LinkedIn, but many more months where I'm like, shoot, how am I gonna many months? So many months. I looked at my calendar. I said, wow, that's a lot of months. 12 months in a year. Can you believe that?
Revenue in some months.
Guys, I feel like I'm in the room with the president. You sold that. The Americans are all
but it's all the down months. I think that builds a humility, right? And I think you see the younger creators that are embracing a more tried and true business approach are the ones that it's like you get that success of the vanity metrics and the attention and praise and likes and people messaging you like, yo, that video is fire. I'm happy I saw that. And then no one's paying you anything. You're like, shoot, like I'm creating value, but am I capturing value? Am I generating enough value for others on a monetary basis that because that's the premise of capitalism, right? Is that you benefit when you create value for others, and I think with the sales rap, what that taught me is I wasn't creating enough value for others. So if I were to time travel and go back, I think that if I explain the full story to myself, I think because it didn't take me that long to realize and course correct, right? It was about 2.5 years, and then I pivoted to a more boring presentation, and now I'm suited and booted.
Looking sharp.
Thank you very much.
But sorry, Jake, back to what you were saying though, because you were like, businesses should hire someone. Do you mean almost like an in-house influencer?
We're seeing that a lot across a lot of brands.
A lot of brands, yeah.
Interesting.
In-house influencer, right? I mean, why not hire someone? I mean, it can be expensive if there's an influencer that is somewhat big, but I mean, someone that's a beast with making content, bringing them in-house to create content for you. That's what I would be doing if I was a B2B business, or hiring Vent Shark or the Story Club.
Well, there's so I think there's two separate content motions we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? There's
we're talking about creating attention right now.
Creator economy creator modality of that attention it's a lot easier. I mean, that's why I think founder brand's so important, right? It's a lot easier as an individual human to build a personal brand than it is to build a professional brand for a company.
Yeah.
You just can't engage with individuals the same way as a corporate brand. So I think in personal branding, you know, especially amongst the older generation, which is crazy. We're talking about millennials. Pour one out for the youth.
Wow.
That's where you're trying to change a pattern, right? You have folks that have been in their careers for a decade, 2 decades now, kind of following the blueprint. And all of a sudden you're telling these folks, now you got to make founder brand and whatnot. And that's where, you know, I think having someone like yourself as a guide is helpful. But for some companies, there's just not buy-in. And at that point, if you're sitting in the marketing seat and you're looking at your company, most of the executive team's not bought into being on content, you could try forcing them, but you know, you can probably project where that'll go.
For sure.
At that point, or you're a founder that sees the value in all this stuff, but you have work to do before you set your company up and free up bandwidth to be able to participate in the content. To your point earlier about the value of time and the opportunity cost of compound interest in video, you want to start sooner. So the easiest way to start probably is to hire someone. They don't even necessarily need to be an influencer, right? Maybe just someone with creator experience.
A failed creator that you can that's good at creating content, but maybe just hasn't blown up yet.
Well, because the best creators won't want to work for somebody else. They'll maybe want to like work for different
Yeah, you
brands
pay
or
like
businesses.
$500K probably to like sign them at least for like a year contract, and then they'll eventually churn because they're not bought in. So if you make the founder who cares the most about the business the influencer, is probably your best bet. You just gotta get their time.
Yeah.
Homegrown is always better than, because the other thing too is, you know, we're still,
So I take it back.
we're still
Take it back.
coming out of the job hopper market, right? Where, you know, it's like 1 to 2 year stints was the common trend, and that's hard to do when you're, because I remember about 2.5, 3 years ago, the evangelist role was very popular across companies. Remember that, Jake?
Oh, I know. I know them well.
Chief evangelist, sales evangelist, you know, and now you don't see those roles still exist, but they have different names now.
Sure.
Right. You might just have like a marketing, you know, depending on company size, a director or VP, you know, level marketing role, and you're doing some of those things. You're putting the budget you're in charge of is going towards some of that spend. But you're not being labeled. Like, you're still doing speaking engagements and going out, meeting customers, you know, attending a lot of events. But it's not perceived the same way internally.
Yeah. I mean, we're so fair and diplomatic because we understand there's so many different sides to this, and like different businesses and all those different aspects and what different businesses need. I point a question to the room for if there was people like watching this who wanted to fully understand, like, and obviously we're all going to cover this, but like why they should be doing video, the importance of video, like why does video actually matter, right? Like, why does founder-led video actually matter? And even if, and then the other side, like why does having an evangelist video, like brand, modern social video brand evangelist in the business,
trust at scale?
Why does it matter?
Yeah, trust at scale. 24-hour sales team. Your content will be doing the selling for you.
Yeah, traditional cold outbound's harder now. Right? Too many AI tools, AI SDRs, agents. You know, burn your email domains and in 20 days.
Most people aren't ready to buy either. So
yeah, it's like what 95% of the market aren't ready to buy.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think the people need to get so you're talking about people conflate video with social. Right, that's the first thing. That's the first mindset that needs to die, is because, I loved you were talking about the 8 most common objection videos. If you create like a video sales letter and you address all of these, that video doesn't need to go viral for it to be effective. Most people right now, the biggest misconception in B2B about video is founders and marketers thinking that they need to go viral for a video to be successful. The most important video that your company could make is the video that lives on your website or your sales team uses, that maybe is seen 200 times over the course of 3 years, but every viewer of those 200 is a highly interested prospect and you're directly influencing deals. You
Or
don't
even
need to go viral.
or even another thing to nail down, like on, I know we don't want to make it just about the social side, but on the social side, when I told you about, the younger guys who post the videos, get lots of attention, then I managed to convince them to post a middle of funnel video, which is a video that is speaking directly to the people who will buy from them. It covers maybe an objection or talks about the problem or twists the knife of what they experience and what their solution is. And let's say half the views, right? Let's say even just 500 views. 500 is a lot of people, and people's perception is skewed from 30,000 nobodies to 500 potential of your ideal clients. Like, it's crazy how the numbers game, and people forget, if you wanted to speak, it's like you were saying, trust at scale is what video is. It's also a way of like getting you directly, personally in front of 500 people. And even if it's just 500 a day in 1 week, 2,500 people hearing your message.
I can't even do 500 calls in a year. That'd be brutal. I mean, I probably would do 500 calls, but maybe 500 calls in
it would hurt.
a quarter or two would be really difficult.
Yeah. I was gonna say I usually do 500 calls a year.
I was going to say a cold calling business.
But I mean, like Zoom calls, right? You can replace a Zoom call with a piece of content.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is a lot of the younger creators, especially, their sales content. When they think of sales content, there's this misconception that selling content, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel content is about your product or your service. That's not necessarily true. I think in my experience on the sales side, I was always taught to really sell the problem, right? And once you get extreme buy-in and extreme alignment on the problem exists, it's hurting us really badly in this way, then you talk about the solution and what can be changed. I think people rush to the solution, right? Why should they care if 99% of the buyers are unaware or not actively evaluating? It's not just solution awareness; it's problem awareness.
Yeah,
that's I think a bigger problem that video can help solve is problem education.
Well, I think the stat for the last 5-6 years, it's got more attention. The whole 95% of your buyers aren't ready. No one's focusing on awareness level content. So I think what we've had is a massive pile-on of awareness level content, which is also what's made that middle funnel, bottom of funnel stuff not die out, but become less of a focus, because it has become about attention. And this is the thing. All these numbers are skewed. What people think they should be doing, what they think other people are getting, what the expectation is, has totally skewed just like basic business strategy, which is a problem that needs to be solved, which is why we're into video, because video is a good solution to those problems. But it's speak to your customer, solve their problem, prove you're trustworthy. That is the basics. And that's what video does, just to push that in.
We got to start the basics, the problem. When companies are talking too much about themselves, immediate red flag. That's immediate red flag. Just talk about the problem and how you can solve that, or how's that problem solved. Whether it's with your tool or not. I think people are overselling in their content a little bit too much, which is also a big red flag.
Well, have you heard the term? It's survivor bias. Somebody does a certain methodology, follows a certain route, and then they start pitching that and proposing, this is what you must do this, I did this, it'll work for you. Obviously, some people say it might not work for you, but whatever. Yeah. Now, everybody follows the exact same book. So it's like we're saying, that awareness content just gets overused. And so now it's even more important with video, and even in marketing, I would say, to be a first mover. I think it's more important than ever. When something starts working, you need to be the one of the first to it, because whether it's a video trend, a video style, because it's like you're saying, people talking about themselves. Tell your story has been a phrase for years now, right? Everyone talking about...
Tell your story.
Yeah. Oh, I got into this business by this and blah, blah, blah. And of course, it's lovely, but now that everyone's doing it, when you hear it all the time, people don't care. It's like, I don't care how you got into this.
Yeah.
Unless they already like you, trust you, buy into you and stuff. So there's all these nuances, and unfortunately people listen to podcasts or watch YouTube videos and they want definitive answers. but it just is not that simple. It doesn't work that way.
No, 90% of people aren't going to see this nuanced conversation. They're going to watch the clip where I'm screaming a little bit into the mic, right? And they're like, that's the talking point.
Because people want answers, which I get.
Yeah.
But there's just no, it's all about like, you got to try and test. Like you get, your response was bang on when it was like, depends on the size of the business, depends on the industry, depends on the customer. Yeah. Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear him standing here, but we got to do it.
Yeah.
I really like, we're talking about that's been over optimized for attention content. And me and Ding have been talking about this, where bring it back to boring. Make B2B boring again. We want it to be unfun. We want it to be more instructional and just get the job done, because at the end of the day, like the boring companies, the really big companies, they're there for a reason, because they're making content that works. So people have been over optimizing for the attention. Yeah. I think we're going to see the pendulum swing back to boring content. And me and Ding at least have been seeing that with a lot of the content we're selling right now. It's not the most sexy and fun content, but gets the job done.
Yeah.
Be your CFO's favorite marketers.
That's right.
Yeah. CFO has never complained.
No market. Yeah, a marketing leader has never been fired for doing customer testimonial videos.
It's a sad truth that's where we are at, where we can't make fun content and make exciting content, because at the end of the day, we are in a business. I think there's time to make your fun content, but there's also time to do some stuff that's actually going to move the business forward.
I think it just goes to show we have this conversation about, we don't necessarily want to be the fun company. We want to be cool and fun people, but the company doesn't need to be cool and fun.
Yeah.
And when you look at as our product market fit has evolved, as our company has expanded and scaled, and you see what offers have resonance in the market, it's not a coincidence that this specific offer we have is selling like hotcakes. It does well because it works, and we get repeat business because clients have gotten good results from that.
For context, Event Shark, we sell event content, testimonials, case studies. We also a few years ago, we're doing tons of music videos, which Ding was talking about, and we've been doing less and less music videos. We've been doing more case studies and testimonials and event content that is traditionally not as fun, but there's a huge market.
But it's like
huge market for it.
Companies spending multiple six figures on a user conference, or flying all these customers in, and they're getting their internal subject matter experts and people from the product team talking about new releases over the next couple of months. Your executives are on site. That's much lower hanging fruit than, can we try and make a skit and go viral and be the Mr. Beast of our category.
I think that undersells it, like saying lower hanging fruit. And I think being in a creative industry, you're almost guilted in that you have to be creative. Whereas there's plenty of podcasts of people sitting around and they're super cool people. They've got these like big ideas and they're super creative. But I was marketing manager in a chain of men's retailers, 53-year-old business now. They were not wanting to do exciting things. They didn't do exciting things. And we worked with this agency that was super creative and had unbelievable ideas, but never moved the dial. And that's why it's boring, but it's the basics. And back to the basics. How do you solve the problem? Are you trustworthy? What have you done before? And that's why case studies, like you said, what have you done before? Evidence. And as terrible as this say, and as unexciting as it is, like, hopefully, obviously, we get buy-in from companies, and then they get more budget and they want to put it in the fun, creative stuff.
Totally.
But at the end of the day, if it's not moving the dial for a business, we're moving into worlds where like there's slightly less risk appetite. People want to see results. There's lots of marketing agencies popping up, especially as people are losing jobs and agencies are closing. More people are going to go freelance and stuff. If you are one of the many marketers out there and you don't have proven results, you're dead in the water. And you can either have this amazing dream of being super creative and fun, which we still have. So you said, you want to be outside the office.
Yeah.
Or, you can actually make money and survive and live and build something.
Even this podcast, I don't really tell my friends about it, because like my personal friends, I'm like, we're talking about boring business video, like we're getting in the nitty gritty of it. I'm like, this is not like a typical podcast for like my friends to consume. This isn't like sports radio. We're not talking about sports trades and stuff like that. We're talking about video and being nerds about it.
I'd love a Mike Tyson pod. You just you get celebrities on, you get high, like it would be hilarious. How much of a good thing would that be? But wouldn't be good for your professional reputation. Wouldn't move the dial for business and stuff. And it is like, we said it's like it's sad that you have to grow up, but like it's an inevitability of how, if growing your business, and you guys have this sick office now, you've got a team, you're all across America, like that's cool. That's creative. Yeah. That's fun.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah. That wooden desk in that office is a nice unique touch.
You know what's cool is revenue.
Even cooler, profit.
But, true.
Yeah.
But that's,
you know what helps profit? Not splashing all the budget on insane creative videos.
But that's you guys, like I saw it, like South by Southwest, you guys threw like a party and you had other creatives here and you still have fun. And that's what I think people don't understand, because there was the marketing agencies where, oh, you had a table tennis table and you did this and you were cool and you were hip and you were young. But the reason they're all shutting down and merging is because they weren't actually getting their clients' results. They were winning them like the drum award. Great, cool.
Yeah.
But that's an ego thing in itself.
Yeah.
But you guys got creative people together, you've got a cool team together, you have fun. Yes, the work you do also gets businesses results. Like at the end of the day, like money, revenue aside, what actually matters? Having fun in your day-to-day and getting your clients results, or creating some super slick campaign that people loved and it was entertaining, but it did nothing.
Yeah.
I love the call out for agencies, especially because I do feel like there's a bit of a nuance between an in-house marketer and an external vendor in that regard, right? As a vendor, oftentimes you're on a much shorter leash. You have to justify your existence on the books, right, on the P&L sheet.
Yeah.
What is the investment towards? Whereas in-house, I think a good example of this is Ramp's been in the news for good reasons recently, right, with the Brian campaign.
Don't think I've seen it.
You haven't seen this campaign?
Rampsman either.
Ramp. Have you seen Ramp's campaign with like Kevin from The Office?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
I don't think Ramp's in the UK, but of course, because of the Kevin in The Office thing I've seen.
That makes sense. So Ramp, because
we have our British office.
Yeah, British.
The original
British?
one.
Yeah.
The original.
Shit.
But sorry, yes, I've seen it because they got a bunch of like.
Yeah.
I saw the full campaign. It was a video, but then they got a bunch of different.
Yeah, they got the
lookalikes of him
influencers
and
as well.
stuff.
So the reason I bring this up is they just been nominated for a Webby Award, right, for advertising, and I saw their team on LinkedIn post about it. I think that's a great accomplishment, from an internal team. I'm sure maybe they had an external vendor they're working with, but I'm pretty sure Ramp has like a very robust internal video segment. From that standpoint, I think that's cool because Ramp's name is in the news, right? And I'm sure some people who follow the Webbies, might be a part of their ICP.
Sure.
If it was an external agency that's doing that, that's nice, for the agency, right? It's like, oh, we won this award, other companies come work with us, but that wouldn't help Ramp or wouldn't help the actual client. Oh, this commercial won an award.
Sure. It's just more of a swag.
It reflects positively on the agency that did it.
Sure.
Right.
Well, I back to it's almost that survivor bias thing again, because I might be wrong. I feel like that might do well for their bottom line in the long term.
I might push back as well, because I do think that's pretty dope. Like,
because we're talking about it and we're like, we're still saying it's good. But what I think you'll get, the problem with survivor bias is you'll get a bunch of people who try and copy that now, a bit like those demo videos we were talking about, and they'll be ineffective, and that's when people, I think.
Yeah. I think if it's done well, like, I'm sure Ramp has a amazing bottom and middle of the funnel content.
Yeah. So that's why it works, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they have a robust sales team, right?
Exactly.
Very well known for excellence on their sales side.
Well, I don't know what the product is.
It's like a finance tool.
Like, I'm not accepting
like QuickBooks.
Not quite. It's more like expense. I mean, they started out as expense tracking, right? And then now they have their own cards and whatnot. It's like I used to use like Concur, like SAP software.
Some of our companies pay us through Ramp, like for invoicing and stuff. Too.
Invoicing, yeah.
I actually got a couple emails from them. I got to respond.
Bit like Stripe. Is that closer?
You know what's funny? I feel like all these tech companies are converging anyways now.
Yeah,
right?
they're
You look
all
at-
sales,
doing
same
different
shit.
bits
You
and
look at
pieces,
sales tech especially, right? Back in the day, you had your intent data providers, and you had your call recording sentiment analysis or sales intelligence, right? Hit the gong. You had your what is it called? Your sales like outreach sales loft, like your what's that? SRP? No. What's the Anyways, a lot of acronyms, a lot of Clary, revenue intelligence. This was just specifically in sales tech, but is my examples. But this is true, I think, verticals and different functions. Now you look at all those. But now you look at all those companies, and they've built features, right?
Sure.
AI has made coding development a lot quicker.
Yeah,
to
and they all
ship.
steal bits from each other. And
Yeah, now they all do the
thing.
same shit. Right, so that at that point, it's like where you're differentiating on. It's kind of more of a brand.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when they're all basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But that's why I think that video might actually play in their favor, even
Yes,
just from a brand
yes,
thing.
Yes.
But when we see a bunch of people like brands now take celebrities and do that, it'll become
Yeah.
ineffective. So, and that's why it was back to part of being a first mover. I think is now more important than ever. Being original. But there's the two sides, because there's the safe stuff that we know works, and then there's, if you have that one idea that's the shot in the dark, yes, you can make absolute bank and be the one, but that is a gamble.
Yeah.
And hundreds of thousands of businesses are trying that a year. So like, what is the smarter move? Probably what you know works.
Yeah.
As sad as it is.
If you have a
to say.
limited budget.
Yeah. And it's crazy that that's a controversial take right now, right? Because that's where the metagame is. Pendulum swings back and forth. Where I think we're in an era of try to be more creative or have the optics that you're trying to be creative.
Oh, we're cancelled as agencies now for saying this, for being
Yeah,
real.
100%.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah,
we're
we're
not
done.
agencies anymore. That's
Yeah.
we just died in that.
Well,
as an industry.
agencies are they've changed, right? Is my phone on me? Phone's over there. Jay, can you look something up real quick?
Right here.
Look up Sequoia agency output AI. Like there's an article. I sent you this article. It was like last week. There were two.
I read it. Oh yeah, I read it.
Right. It's the so that one, and then Jack Dorsey's article about flattening hierarchies at companies. I think two very interesting points as agency and vendors going forward is for a long time agencies were a people business, right? This is
You mean like Mad Men relationships?
yeah.
Mad
I
Men.
mean, and the relationships part will always be important, I think. But it was
Roger Sterling, great guy.
it's ideation and strategy consulting, right? Consulting firms became some of the biggest, most valuable companies in the world.
Yeah.
And now they've taken, and legal too, law firms have
Here's
taken
Ding's
a huge hit.
AI rant right here.
So what AI has done is AI has driven down the cost of human labor, right? And it's increased the expectation of efficiency and speed of value.
Yeah.
Many people think that's bad for agencies. This guy from Sequoia that wrote this article. We'll properly attribute after the fact.
We'll send it to you.
Yeah.
We'll put it on
please do.
the page. Jesse will send it to you right now too, so you have this for a screen.
So this guy surmises that agencies and software vendors have really been trying to solve the same problem, but in a different way. So the software vendors, SaaS companies, now AI companies, they're selling tooling to help address an issue that internal people or the company themselves, the clients, can use the tooling to solve their problem. Agencies sell the outcome, right? We'll use a combination of tooling, people, processes, expertise to solve your problem and deliver you a result. That's a little different than the software side, right? The software says we'll give you the capability for you to solve the result, and then they on the agency side is you pay for the end
Yeah,
result.
please do.
What AI is doing now is it's increasing the threshold at which agencies can scale out results more quickly.
Sure.
And so I think we're all converging to tie back to the convergence point earlier. I think agencies and software vendors, we're all converging to just selling that in outcomes. to clients, right? And I think perhaps I'm a little biased, but I think agencies have more experience delivering outcomes than software companies. And now as I sit more in the seat of a buyer, and as I evaluate, spend from that standpoint, that's what I care more about. Like, are we buying a tool, or are we paying someone to do something? I just want the job to be done. I don't care how it gets done.
Well, people have been saying sell the outcome for quite a while. So if everyone's selling the outcome, does that tie back to what you're saying, like relationships?
I think relationships are a piece, but then it becomes more important to convey the message or establish trust that you are someone that can sell that outcome, right? You could do that in a couple of ways. You could actually do the work and make it very obvious in a conversation, right? Perhaps a sales call context, that you are the person for the job. But there's a whole...
Or a good video case study.
Good video case study, right? Before that, before you get them on the call with you, before you get them in person with you, there's some level of trust to be established that you're the person that can get them the result. And that's the founder content.
Everyone's looking for what will make them stand out now, right? That's why like you said, every SaaS agency is just calling itself an AI agency. But then are we seeing here the biggest way to stand out is evidence that you can deliver the outcome that you say you will? And if you don't have evidence, or if you've not created any outcomes, then you better figure out a way to build some evidence that you can do what you say you do, or figure out what you're capable of doing. Otherwise, you've just got no shot.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, when you are making a buying decision, right? Like, what does your research or your due diligence look like?
It's funny, I thought about this recently. My last buying decisions have been seeing people I respect or think highly of talk about a tool or a service or a community. It's been that a trusted individual, not like promoted, not as a paid thing, just being like, I'm in this community, or I use this product, it's unbelievable. That's been the factor, funnily enough.
Yeah. I'd say for me, the number one factor into it for consideration is specificity. Has this person or this company or this tool solved a problem for someone that is similar to my problem and in a similar context to me? That's really what I care about, right? And that's where, when companies ask me, how many case studies should we make? How many testimonials should we have? The right answer is as many as possible. The more realistic answer is, how many contexts do you win business, right? How many verticals do you sell into? What different market segments do you sell into? What personas and end users get a benefit from your product? And that informs a lot of that strategy, right? And I didn't really get a good picture of that until I started making more buying decisions.
I like it. Jake, I'm not going to let you miss out on this one. What's yours?
Yeah, I think you guys nailed it on the head. Does it solve my problem? What's the cost?
Yeah.
Is the cost make sense for the result I'm getting? Hell yeah. I think especially with Claude, a lot of these new AI tools, that you can do a lot of shit with that. So, I mean, now I'm even looking like, can Claude just do this for me versus me having to buy a software to do it? So all these specific niched out softwares, I mean, it goes back to like all the softwares converging and everything doing the same stuff. Like, Claude can do so much stuff for you now. Like, I think that's where we're starting with now.
Everyone's an agent company now.
Yeah.
That really is what it's happened in the past year. I think a lot of people started out doing different things. They're like, what's the AI way we can do this? And then as they build that, they realize, oh, wait, this process, we can actually do more than initially thought. And then the messaging has just gone in that direction.
So it's funny. So the directions we chose there was kind of like, although they're not influencers, I was influenced by people in positions, and yours was through case studies. I mean, that's good research for anybody watching, by the way, if you want to influence purchasing decisions.
Yeah, I mean, but not just case studies, right? Like case studies where specifically, and the other thing too is, like, and we don't sell this, right? But this is something that I do. I try to find, and I love when sales reps do this. Can you put me in contact with someone that is a current customer that is similar to my situation? And I've been that voice for some of the tools or vendors that I use.
Interesting.
And that is more powerful than, just about any other form of sales collateral. It's just like a real example. And that could be a video, that could be a conversation, that could be text correspondence. But it's just, because I think Jake earlier said, can it solve my problem? I think the key word of emphasis, can it solve my problem? Right? I don't just care if can it solve the problem, because there's 30 tools in each given category that can solve a problem, or so they claim.
So that's funny, because a term, sorry Jake, I know you're trying to get the conversation back.
No, it's fine.
There's one last thing in that, then it's, at the end of the day, like what we really base it down to, like our decisions, is like evidence. Your evidence is speaking to someone, hearing from them the case studies. Mine is someone I trust saying it does what it says it does. And I don't know if you guys have heard, one of the big terms going around at the moment is we're in a trust recession.
Oh, interesting.
100%.
Because people are just saying anything now. I've done this, I can do this. I mean, we're on LinkedIn. How many DMs do you get where someone has just built up a LinkedIn page in that day and then starts DMing thousands of people being like, I can get you 1 to 2 leads a week. There's no evidence, no web page, no testimonials. So now evidence and trust, I do think, are key things, which is why the boring things work, because they're about trust and evidence.
I would even say, when we were looking at CRMs, we wanted an AI first CRM. We're using this CRM called Lightfield, shout out Lightfield. But I saw a tweet from someone I knew talk about how great it was. And then we end up doing like a post shouting out this CRM after we'd used it for 3 months. And then I had so many people DM me like, is this actually legit? Like, you talk highly about this CRM, but like, is this just like a BS like paid post thing, or do you actually genuinely think that? But there's so much like BS. I use this, blah blah blah, but like, is it actually solve your problem? So that's why people are asking like on the side, like, yo, do you actually use that?
Yeah, I think in my post I specifically said, because I stopped doing paid brand deals. So I put that disclaimer in. And I remember a couple people reached out to me that were like actively evaluating CRMs. And they're like, hey, I'm looking at this now because you posted about it. And
that's something like to be like for all of us to just be massively aware of then, because if we're acting that way and people are actually seeing you post about it and they're still so cynical, they're in your DMs double checking with it. It's like, not to shoehorn it back in, but it's like, what can we do with video for ourselves and for our customers to reduce that friction?
Yeah. Trust recession, I think, is a good topic to go down in the context of video specifically, because there's this whole other phenomenon of the AI slop, brain rot content, right? It's more easy, and this is true for text and video, generative content. As there's more procedurally generated, non-human involved content out there, I think that places a premium on real human content.
Sure.
Writing's getting harder to distinguish now because some of the models are better. As you get better at prompting and build more guardrails, you could facsimilate human writing a little easier. Video is hard, right? You can't. The models, they're cool right now, right?
Well, what are your guys' opinions on those AI clones of people?
I want to say something now right now, because I think as millennials, we trust human buyers. I think maybe Gen Alpha, they won't care if it's AI.
Well, hopefully we have
testimonial or not.
I hope, like,
I don't think they'll care.
I hope.
As long as we're selling the millennials, we're good. But I think as
we got some time.
Yeah,
I hope you're wrong though, because, like, at a certain point, the governments need to, like, if something's AI generated, it needs to have a wee stamp saying this is AI. And I think the moment that happens, the things will be like wallpaper, because you'll be like, this isn't a real person. How can I trust it? I hope you're wrong. But sorry, but you were saying.
I'm just saying. This is just what my prediction is, that people younger won't care as much. But I hope. I'm hoping. I'm in your boat. And we
almost disagree with that, because yes, the young Gen Alpha right now, they don't care because they're in primary school and they're not B2B executives and buying, right? I think Gen Z 10 years ago didn't care. Now you have Gen Z that are managers and they're in charge of budgets, and if they make a bad decision, they lose their job.
And events and in real life is so, everyone, like, Zuckerberg was betting big on the metaverse, thinking no one would want to go out and stuff. And obviously, like, in real life, I do think humans need that human interaction, and maybe they don't realize how badly they need it when they're younger. But I think, like you're saying, as they get older, the craving for it comes real, because that fakeness, even, you know, UGC content. Hey guys, I got this product. Like, people are sick of that now because they know it's fake.
That's good American accent.
So, hey guys, got this whiskey.
Yeah. Well, also OpenAI just shut down Sora, so that was one of the biggest, biggest distribution moat of all of the generative video AI tools.
Thank God. Honestly, thank goodness
we're
they shut it
killing
down.
that. We're going all in on codecs because that's where enterprise value is.
So I think humanity will always defer back to the baseline for better or worse. Do you remember, like, all the talk, the metaverse, veganism, like all these things where it was like people put big money into.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, when money's tight or things get touched, humanity goes back to like its needs, which is probably people and relationships and being out in the world.
I mean, you were even saying when everyone went remote during COVID, it was kind of nice at the beginning. And then you're like, shit, I kind of like being in person a little bit more. Yeah. So we're in the office every day and we love it. It's so much more fun than working at home.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, and you can't send your head of editing to get Chipotle when you work from home.
Yeah.
And maybe it comes with age, because I don't know. You saw
I think it does come with
Australia
age.
banned social media till you're 16. The UK's looking at it a bit as well. And I do think we're seeing that move away from screen time, because I walk around my local park and there's never any kids playing. It's genuinely shocking. And you know, they're just in, like, maybe on their phones playing games. And as always, the pendulum will swing back. So, but sorry, but you were saying how it's so easy to generate AI text. You were going to say something about it's not so easy to do. Then I kind of
You're such a good podcast host because we got two hosts on here because you keep bringing it back to everyone. You're moderating too.
It's because I jumped in and I was like, AI clones.
You know what's tough is I'm a better podcast guest than I'm a, because I used to, my earliest experience when I was in the rap stuff, I'd guest on a lot of podcasts. So I'm good at talking. But
we're all in the same world. Like, and echo chamber or not, like, we all know the area, so it's better as the discussion.
I know.
I like this. Today's podcast, I think it's been really good because we're all just kind of talking. Usually, it's like I don't actually like the Q&A podcast as much. It feels like an interrogation.
Ask a question, get an answer.
Yeah. The generative AI. So the point there is, for a long time, like, written case studies were a big thing. It'd take a marketer 2 weeks to spin up a written case study, right? You have to do the customer interview, outline, and prove, and this is literally just text on a page, maybe a picture or two. Right now, you have agents spinning up, 20 a day, right? If you wanted,
and they could be fake. Is that what you mean?
Not necessarily fake. It could be very real. But do you believe it as much when there's?
I wouldn't.
Right?
If it was a written post.
Here's a bunch of text. It reads like an LLM wrote it because an LLM wrote it, right? But then you have the difference of someone on camera. There's multiple angles of it. You're like, this is real. They're on site with this person. Not only did the customer agree, hey, you can use my name and my company's name in your written case study. I'll show up on camera. Yeah, you're bringing a crew in. You're going to come to the office. Sure, I am such a fan of your product. I'm willing to say good things about it on camera for 30 minutes, trim down to a 5-minute video.
Honestly, it is, from like communities I'm in, like various different communities, one of the first things they tell you to do is get video testimonials. Because of what you're saying, because people could just go video case studies and testimonials. Didn't you just do like 20 on Monday or something?
Yeah, we did. We flew out to Arkansas on Monday. Easter Monday was shooting all day, 18-hour day, doing testimonials all day. Yeah. They got like 8 people on camera. We did 30 minutes with each person. Potentially a little overkill, but hell, we flew out there, so I might as well film everything we got.
Exactly. Sorry. So the reason I was saying it as well is because you get the wall of love. Do you remember, like, when you went to like coaches or service things, a lot of them have a wall of love.
The dentist, they got the wall of love.
The what?
At the dentist.
Listen, are you joking? Or
I'm being dead serious.
I'm not surprised, because I was going to say, if it's not true, it's coming. I'm seeing so many B2B businesses now have a wall of love. And
we have one on our website. It's a little outdated, but...
Have you got videos?
We have testimonials on our website.
So I've got a guy who's like, I've got so many like nice written testimonials. He was like, they're bullshit. He was like, go and get video ones. So when I'm back in the UK, I'm going to London and I'm going to stop by I'm going to let them know, but different people's offices, because it's like the trust recession thing and what you're saying. Like, if someone's taking the time to do it, these things that seem so small are huge. So if you're in the UK, get the Story Club to get your videos and case studies. If you're in the States, get Event Shark.
There we go. Boom. CTA. That's what the Gen Z don't know about.
What? CTA?
Yeah, get the conversion.
What's the next step? Click the link in the comments.
we did. We missed one thing.
Okay, we got our word of the week or term of the week.
Term of the week. Yeah.
Tall poppy syndrome. What is the tall poppy syndrome?
So tall poppy syndrome is when you stand out, you're going to get cut down. And the reason we were talking about that earlier is because a lot of people in the UK are quite resistant to going on video, building out their personal brand, because when you get seen, you're putting yourself out into the world for criticism. And unfortunately, there's a bit of negativity around that sort of thing in the UK.
Yeah, and on the US side, it's interesting because we have a saying called "the squeaky wheel gets the grease," and it's almost the antithesis of tall poppy syndrome. Is like we're encouraged to be loud and stand out. Squeak, squeak, squeak. I'm a wheel.
That's a good one. All right, if you made it this far, you know what to do. You got to go subscribe to our channel, B2B Content Show. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe now because you made it this far. Obviously, you got some value from this. Go check out Jonny Rose on LinkedIn. Go check out the Story Club if you're in the UK. Want to get some content, want to get some founder content, Event Shark, you know where to find us. And we'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.